Yo, what's up, guys? So today I'm going to talk about what the top 1% gatekeep and the secrets that they are not telling you. And I'm going to tell it to you guys right now. So stay tuned in this video. So number one, guys, skill stacking. You have to stack a skill. You have to stack multiple skills. So if you know video editing, if you know content creation, you can become a millionaire. All you need is a camera, all you need is a phone, all you need is a basic editor, because you already have the knowledge that you need. So you don't need much. You just need to stack a skill, and this goes with anything, right? Marketing, management. Let's say, for example, you go to school, you have a law degree, and you know how to do marketing. Now you can start your own company. You have to skill stack. Skill stacking is one of the most important things you can do in your life when it comes to building wealth. And you can never not stack enough skills. You can stack however many skills you want to. It doesn't even matter. Just continue to stack your skill set. Number two, right? You have the invisible work advantage, meaning they spend hours on prep and behind the scenes work. So what you're seeing from a lot of people is the finished product. You're not seeing behind the scenes. Sometimes, when you see successful actors, you don't see the grind. You don't see the 30 years they took to make it. Like, there's so many actors. I think it was Sylvester Stallone. He didn't really make Rocky until he was about 35 years old, but he was acting since he was like a little kid, like 10, 12, 15, 16. And then when he was young, in his early 20s, he was homeless, sleeping on park benches. But you didn't see that. They didn't really televise that. They finally televised the finished product. And sometimes, you'll see some of the people, they just show up out of nowhere. You're like, where'd they come from? They came from the grind. They came from the long sleepless nights, the early mornings. So it's very important to, have an invisible work advantage too for yourself. Sometimes you don't really have to tell people, you just have to pop up. You just have to show up, just show up, pop up after you've worked so hard. And people were just, wow, you got this done, you got that done, you did this, you did that. Where have you been? You've been working, you've been doing things behind the scenes. Sometimes you don't have to show everyone everything. Number three, guys, is information arbitrage. So they profit by knowing things faster than anyone else. You need to know things faster than anyone else, meaning that you just need to have basic financial analysis of whatever it is. If it's crypto market, stock market, if you just do your basic financial analysis every morning, every day, you're going to know more than probably 99% of the population, because everyone's so busy doing everything else. Not everyone, but most majority of people, they have lives outside of just basic financial intelligence. They don't really keep track too much of that. But if you're keeping track of that, the information faster than anyone else, you can sell that information, especially if you know how to break it down. If you know how to really analyze it correctly, you can sell that information, package it up into products. You can create Twitter accounts, you can create a YouTube account, talk about it. It doesn't really matter, you can do whatever. But to know information faster than anyone else, to understand the information faster than anyone else, to ask mentors, to pay for mentors, coaches, whatever, if that's what matters the most. Because if you're getting the wrong information, you're getting led down the wrong path, you're going to waste a lot of time in your life. So try to get the information before anyone else. And then number four, the pay to shortcut rule. Spend money on coaches, masterminds, insider access. We have to spend money on knowledge. Knowledge is very important. So if you can, let's say, for example, if you want to do YouTube, if you know some people who have YouTube channels that have millions of subscribers, why don't you go and DM those people and say, hey, how did you get millions of subscribers? Can I pay for you to coach me on how I can get 1 million subscribers? If you offer a good price, sometimes you might have to offer these people at least $5,000, sometimes $1,000, $2,000, just for 2 hours of their time. But you might think 2,000, that's a lot. 5,000, that's a lot. It's not a lot. Is it really a lot if you can also make 1 million subscribers too, and then start making their same amount of income? It's an investment. Don't think of it as a lot. Think of it as an investment. Use money as a tool. Number five, guys, the 5-hour rule. So they dedicate at least 5 hours a week to pure learning and networking. All you need is 5 hours a week. 5 hours a week is 5, 10, that's 20 hours a month. After the end of the year, that's what, 240 hours a year just to learn something. If you pick one thing, you're gonna get very deep knowledge into it, very deep mastery into it, instead of doing a ton of things. Even just reading books, right? You want to read books on your specific field, not just general. You can read general business books, but read books based off your specific field that you want to get into. Whatever it is, read books off that too as well. 6, leverage over labor. So they use systems, automations, people, and capital so they don't have to do the work. So eventually you want to do that with your business as well, right? You want to use other people, you want to use automations, systems that you can do that you don't have to do so much of the work. You know, you don't want to always be so involved in your business, doing all the work, doing everything. You have to use systems and other people so you can also have free time in your life as well. And then 7, guys, opportunity filtering. So they say no to 99% of things so they can say yes to a few that matter. So that's very important. You know, say no to a ton of, when it comes to business, you don't want to do everything because your time is so limited. Your knowledge it's not limited, but you want to give your knowledge and your efforts and everything to one thing. That's how you know it's going to work after a while. So say no to 99% of things and say yes to only a few. That's one thing that I would have did when I was younger, is say no to 99% of things, especially business opportunities, and say yes to only 1 or 2, and do that for a long stretch of time, and eventually you'll see results. It's inevitable. If you put something will grow. If you put your time and effort into it, it has to grow, and it will grow. And the only difference between you and everyone else, the people who made it, is the time and the effort. So if you put the time and the effort in, it will grow eventually, guys. So these are the secrets that the top 1% people gatekeep, guys. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.